Hey guys, the Geek 6000 here. So sorry it's been a little while. Life has gotten in the way over the past few months and it's been a pretty rough year. But I'm back and I've got a good one for you. Today we're going to take a look at my HP Z600 Workstation. Let's check it out. So this is my Z600 Workstation. Now I used to have the first desktop that I had was a Dell Optiplex 745. So not a very good machine at all, very slow, old, and not a very good upgrade path for that one. I moved on to a Z220 workstation, which had a quad-core octa-thread Xeon processor, 16 gigabytes of DDR3, and I had an HD 7770 graphics card. And then I went from that to this after I found out that this is the exact same price as that Z220 workstation on eBay. So why did I go for this and sell my Z220 just so I could get this? Let's open it up and I'll show you why. So in here, as you can see, there are two heatsinks, and yes, this is a dual processor Xeon machine. This is a 12-core, 24-thread monster of a computer, 3.02 gigahertz on each of those CPUs. They're Xeon X5675s, and the socket type is LGA1366. And as far as I can tell, these are the most upgraded CPUs for this machine. The graphics card you see there at the bottom, that's the 1050 Ti Superclocked Edition. I don't know the clock speeds off the top of my head, but I believe it's 1200 megahertz for the core clock and 1300 megahertz for the VRAM clock. That has 4 gigabytes of VRAM and I believe 645 CUDA cores on that as well. And then if we take a look underneath this little thing here, the RAM fan here, see if I can do this one-handed. There we go. You can see we have 6 DIMM slots, 3 for each processor, and in those DIMM slots there is 16 gigabytes of DDR3. This can take both ECC unbuffered and ECC buffered, and then you can also put just regular DDR3 RAM in this. Now the one catch to this, and I've never really encountered this on any other kind of machine, but this is because this is, a workstation server kind of computer. You have to have exactly the same speed of RAM in each slot. You can't even mix different different speeds of RAM, different brands even. It has to all be exactly the same or it'll throw an error. I've been trying to upgrade the RAM in this for quite a while and have not had very good success with that. So for now, 16 gigabytes is what I'm stuck at, which is fine. 16 gigabytes is still plenty for me here in 2020. I never really use more than 16 gigabytes of RAM ever. But that's not obviously the most this can go up to. This computer can actually take up to 96 gigabytes of RAM. Now the official thing from HP is that it takes 48 gigabytes of RAM, which is 8 gigabytes per slot. But there are several people who have written online, which that would be on the HP forum. I found this. You guys can take a look at this if you want. Some people have said they've been putting 16 gigabyte sticks in each of these DIMM slots, which then means that these slots can handle up to 16 gigabytes of RAM, which means you can put 96 gigabytes of RAM into this computer, which is absolutely insane. And let me turn it like this so you guys can get a better view of everything here. And as you can see, it's pretty packed in here. There's a lot of stuff going on. See, even the North Bridge here has its own dedicated fan, which I find just hilarious, that the North Bridge has to have its own fan. And of course, if you guys aren't familiar with the North Bridge, think of it as kind of like a traffic cop between the CPU and the RAM and the graphics card kind of thing. And it controls the traffic between all these components, and it's a very high-speed chip for that. It has to be very high speed because the traffic here from all these components is extremely high speed. And then down at the bottom over here, you can see behind the graphics card there, that's your South Bridge. That controls traffic between your SATA data from your hard drives and your disk drives, and your PCI Express PCI slots down there. It doesn't have to be quite as fast. Traffic doesn't move quite as quickly. So that's the inside of the computer. Let's put this little thing back in here then. And get it back in there correctly. Look at the outside of the case here. And of course, if you guys don't know, the case for this computer was actually designed and built by BMW, which is interesting, I find, that BMW designed a case for HP, but that is the case. And as you can see here, this is a brushed aluminum finish. This is a very thick piece of metal, very well constructed. This handle here is also thick metal, and it's very substantial. Here, I'll show you. When you click it shut, you get a very secure click there when you shut that thing. And as you can see back here, you've got some keys, which you can use right here to lock the machine up, which is also quite secure. Of course, if you bought this computer back in 2010, you wouldn't want people to be snooping around in your $2,000 workstation. And as you can see here on the front, we've got our disk drive here, which is just DVD rewritable, which is just DVD readable. I don't think you can rewrite in this drive, unfortunately, which doesn't really matter here in 2020 because not many of us use disk drives that I can imagine anymore. And then you got your USB 2.0 ports here, which you've got two of those. Or sorry, my apologies, you got three of those stacked on top of each other there. You got your audio out, audio in, and then you got a Thunderbolt port, I believe. Or sorry, no, that's not Thunderbolt. You've got, actually, I don't know what this is called. Comment down below if you know what this port is called. I forget, actually. But you have one of those there. And if we come around to the back here, I apologize for the poor quality. This is my smartphone. I don't really have any other way to film this here, but please bear with me. We've got two more USB 2.0 ports here. You got your PS2 keyboard port and your mouse port there, and four more down here, which of course are populated by the supplemental power for my video monitors. I have some Apple Cinema displays hooked up to this. And you got your Ethernet jack there. You've got your audio out, audio in. And then you've also got this blue one here, which I actually don't know. Again, I don't know what that is either. So if you guys could comment down below what that is too. If you know what that blue audio port is, please let me know, because I do not know. And of course, there's your video ports from the video card there. That's that 1050 Ti super clock there. And there's your 650 watt power supply down there. Yep, and that is a tour of the Z600 Workstation from 2010. Thank you for watching. So that is my new workstation that I've had. Actually, I've had this for probably about a year now. And I can tell you guys, 1 year on using this thing is a monster of a computer. I mean, anything you want to do on this, you want to game, edit videos, 3D rendering, anything you want to do, you can do it. This thing can handle it. You can also put tons of storage in this thing, and you can anything you want to do, guys. This thing can handle it. Any game. If you want to play AAA titles, go ahead. These CPUs can handle it easily, even though they're Xeons. Even when there's two of them, there's just so much processing power. It doesn't matter what you throw at it. This thing can take it. And I only bought this thing for $220 on eBay. That's right. I got this refurbished for $220, which is, I think this is a steal, because these two processors together actually have more power than an 8700K. So for the price of $220, you're getting more power than an 8700K. And I actually haven't benchmarked it against any i9s, but I think that it would beat the i9s, personally, because you've got 12 cores and 24 threads, and even though the clock speed is lower, and your single thread performance is not as great as Core i7s and Core i9s. I think that probably this would be more powerful just on account of the sheer number of cores and processing power that it has. And also Xeons, even though they're not for gaming, they're excellent for things like video editing and 3D rendering. That's what they were designed for. And another thing you get with this computer is these things were designed to be used 24/7. That's what they're designed to do. So they're built way better than consumer grade hardware. They're built very well. They're extremely durable, and all of the components, they work very well together. And of course, the cable management is excellent inside these cases. It's all hidden away very nicely, as you guys saw in the video, and things are packed in there quite nicely. Now, and obviously the SATA data cables and everything, that's my fault. I don't really care about data cable management, but that's not that big of a deal. But that's my new machine, and that's what I've been editing videos on. That's what I've been 3D rendering on, occasionally in Blender. And most of all, that's what I game on, actually. It does a very good job considering these are Xeons for gaming. I can do Minecraft, which I do like to play a lot. I play Minecraft servers at 48 chunk render distance in servers, and I can get upwards of 200 to 300 FPS in the Hypixel server, if you guys know what that is. And then I also play War Thunder on maximum settings, and I'll get about 60 to 70 FPS and 1080p, depending on the battles. If I'm in a really intense battle, it sometimes will drop down to like 50 or 40 FPS at 1080p. The 1050 Ti is an excellent card, even by today's standards. And considering I got it for only $80 from a friend, I think that's also a very, very good deal. So overall, I've probably put about $600 into this machine, if I were to guess. All the parts that I bought for it over the few months and over the year that I've had it. And I think it's worth every penny of that much. So thank you guys for watching. I hope this helped you guys. If you're looking for a machine, I would highly recommend this computer, especially if you're video editing or if you're 3D rendering. This is a great machine for the money. You could also take a look at Dell Precisions, which are Dell's equivalent of this computer, the HP Z series machines. They're also going for, if you look on eBay refurbished, they're not too bad in the price, and they're excellent machines. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope this was helpful. Bye.